All right, Jeff, let's get into some NFC North, a little black and blue division talk here with the Green Bay Packers heading into Soldier Field to take on Da Bears. It's a game with huge implications and ramifications on both sides. The Packers can seal the number one seed in the NFC with the win here, and it would mean that they have a bye for the first week of the playoffs, obviously, and home field advantage, albeit without fans. So really don't know if there is much of a home field advantage, but I digress. It's a huge advantage nonetheless to get the bye, right? The Bears, they've actually somehow weaseled their way into playoff contention. Who would have thunk it, right? If they win, they are in. So if they beat the Packers, they are into the playoffs. If they lose, they need the the Arizona Cardinals to lose to the Rams. Jeff, this is a much improved, the script says this is a much improved Bears team under Trubinsky. Mind you, since they've had this comeback, they haven't played a defense, okay? But call me a hater. They are improved with Trubinsky, and he looks to have his confidence back. They're going to be fired up for this game, right? And we all know they have a really good defense. Is it enough to stop Green Bay and pull off one of the upsets of the century? At least to me. They're 5-point favorites, so it's not that big,
well,
but still.
There's a couple reasons why the Bears are better. And they've scored over 30 points, a number of times this last month since Trubisky's come back. The biggest thing is they got David Montgomery back at running.
Yes.
And that's a huge advantage to them because everything that Matt Nagy wants to do begins with their ability to run the football. They've got Allen Robinson outside, who's a grown man. He is a legitimate threat. They've gotten some red zone production from Jimmy Graham, which they hadn't gotten earlier in the year. And Trubisky, for all the controversy that swirls around the kid, if you look at his record this year as a starter, he's over 500. He was not responsible. It was Foles when they really went through that real tough stretch where they couldn't score any points. So the Bears' offense is better. There's no question about that. This game is in Chicago. This is one of the oldest and most heated rivalries in the National Football League. It's loser go home. If loser goes home, if you're Chicago, you lose that game, you are out of the playoff structure. So there's so much for Chicago to play for, but all of that gets discounted by the fact that it's number 12 at quarterback on the other side. And we saw the emergence of a young running back in Green Bay last week. Obviously Aaron Jones is an incredible talent. Robert Tonyan's become a poor man's Kelsey in that offense. And, you've got Devontae Adams who just, he makes plays that other players can't make. And so when you look at all of that, you look at the entirety of that, and let's give the defense a little love too, because everybody said last week was going to be the week that they're exposed because King Henry was going to come in there and just pound the ball at them. And they held up. And that's all they can do is hold up. And so, the secondary made a few plays. I think the Packers are going to win this game. And I think the Packers are going to cover. Now, I will also say this. All of these bets this week are the hardest bets we'll make all year long because there's so much at stake here. Rest is so important to certain players. But I think in this game, because of the rivalry, because the Packers are playing for the bye, and, not just the bye. The week of the bye helps you. But I don't care if there's nobody in the stands in Green Bay. No team in the National Football League knows how to play in cold weather outdoors better than the Green Bay Packers. Think about it. They're probably going to get the Saints, and they want the Saints to come to the cold weather. They want Drew Brees to have to throw the ball in the wind and the snow. And so to me, I think the Packers are going to be ultra motivated for this one, and I think they'll come in, win the game, and cover the points.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the Packers, what they choose to do defensively here, because while I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is some world beater or anything, I look at last week's game versus the Titans, right? And I was one of those stupid people who thought that the Titans were actually the perfect recipe to beat the Packers. I digress. They did not. Now, Derrick Henry, for any other running back, 94, 98 yards, whatever he got in that game, would be a good night, right? But for him, that's that's a little lackluster, I guess, so to speak. They held them under three digits is a big deal. And I don't know how much of that was Green Bay's defense signaling, signing in on him and being like, okay, we're going to shut you down and force Tannehill to throw it. Or was that just because you really can't run the ball the way that you want to whenever you get down that fast, playing from behind. So I don't know, but I'm interested to see, do the Packers, do they shut down David Montgomery and say, okay, Trubisky, go ahead, show us why you're number 2 overall a couple years ago, and show us that. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, but I do have the Packers winning this game for sure. I'm a little leery about the spread just because of what I always said, the implications here, the division, the history, and just the fact that the Bears are playing better than we've seen it. This is going to be a true test. We're going to see who the Bears really are in this game. I'm going to take the Packers to cover the 5 points. Now, the point total here, Jeff, is really high, in my opinion, for a game like this. I'm looking forward to get 52 points. What do you think about that?
I'm going to go with the under in that. I agree with you. I think although there's no snow forecast in Chicago and only 9-mile-an-hour winds, I just think the nature of the game is that this is going to be less than 50 points scored in a game.
Yeah, this is really tough for me. It's so hard for me to go with the under, but I think I'm also going to go with the under in this game for everything we just said.
Hey, you better never let me talk you into changing what your thoughts are on points, because you are the princess of points, I'm telling you.
I am the point princess. I love it. But I'm looking at the Packers schedule right now, and I'm looking at the games where they played really good defenses, okay? There haven't been that many. They put up 37 against the Saints, but they only put up 10 against the Buccaneers. The 49ers, they put up 34 against. Let me see here. The Colts, they put up 31. Yeah, they can score 30-something points, and I changed my mind. Go with the over. I'm going with the over. If Mitchell Trubisky is what everybody's telling me he is, and if the Bears offense is really good, and now they have David Montgomery back, no, this is going to be, I'm seeing like a 34-27 type of game. I'm going with the over here, all right? Y'all can at me. Let us know in the comments below. Whatever you need to do, let me know if I'm crazy for taking the over in this game. Jeff's got the under. We both got the Green Bay Packers winning by 5 points or more. Let us know what you think.